always needs to come from the lens of like, what is actually going to be most productive in this conversation? Is this actually potentially going to push this client away?
So often I hear from my coaches that they are frustrated with their clients just not following through with the plan, not adhering with the advice that they're giving to their clients. And it's frustrating when, as a coach, you feel like you almost care more about that client hitting their goals than they do, which I know and you know is not necessarily the case, but it can feel like that a lot of the times for the coach. So I wanted to have you on to try to help us figure out how can we shift the mindset of our clients and also help the coach kind of get over that, fear of like self-doubt and wondering whether or not they're the best coach or if they're leading in the right way. And so thank you so much for coming on today.
Yeah, I'm super excited to be here. And, it is probably, this is me being very biased because this is the coaches that I'm working with all of the time who are super frustrated. But I have to imagine like the most frustrating thing, especially when you have all of this knowledge and a lot of times really advanced knowledge and fitness and nutrition and metabolism and all these like niche specific things. And then you feel like I can't even use that knowledge because I can't even get my clients to submit a freaking check-in form, So it gets really, really tough too, because then it feels like, well, am I just not a good coach? Do I just not know what I'm doing? Am I only capable of working with easy clients, which is really, really tough as a coach. And like, again, having all of this knowledge and just feeling like you don't ever actually get to use it. So there are a lot of strategies and a lot of things you can do. And like, that's like the first thing I want everybody to hear is that this isn't like a lost cause. Your hands aren't completely tied. There is something that you can do about this and to improve things. Of course, that means you're always going to have some clients that are a little bit stickier, a little bit like harder to get through. But what I tell my students inside the health mindset coaching certification all the time is, what if it went from 40 to 50% of your clients being really tricky, non-adherent, difficult, like lacking motivation to only 10%. So you just have a very small handful. Like how much different that would feel in your day to day, how much more enjoyable coaching would be. I mean, we have students all the time who are saying like, this actually made me fall in love with coaching again because I know what to say to these people. And I don't just feel like, okay, we'll just try again next week. And that is kind of becomes like the repeat phrase over and over again for so many coaches. It's like, okay, well, that didn't work. Let's just try again. Like, don't beat yourself up. Kind of almost like being just like the cheerleader coach and like, let's brush things under the rug. But that is actually usually making
That
things
makes
worse.
sense. So let's talk about that a little bit. So that's one question I had for you is, where do coaches find the balance between being empathetic for their clients and not, and then also being a little bit more rigid, right? So like wanting their clients say, this is kind of what we're trying to do. This is our plan essentially, but at the same time, allowing for some of that flexibility to happen on their end. So balance between empathy and also
Mhm.
structure.
Yeah, it's sort of, I think about like different coaching avatars. Are you like the cheerleader or like the mom type of coach? Like, no, everything's fine. It's going to be okay. Like, don't worry. Let's just try again. Like, last week was last week. Now we have a fresh week. Or are you more of like the drill sergeant coach where it's like, you hired me for a reason. Like, remember what those reasons are. Like, do this for yourself. Like, all of these things. And like, yes, those are kind of extreme examples, but people who are listening right now are like, yeah, I could see where I kind of fall into one of those buckets or kind of move back and forth depending on the client or whatever. And I do think it's important to take what your clients are saying to you seriously. Don't take it personally, because that's where we can kind of like get into the whole like, I'm just not a good coach, this is my own fault. And I don't want you to feel that way, but I do want you to still realize that you can take responsibility and like take your power back in a way, right? So how do we balance this like showing empathy and validating our clients' concerns and what their struggles are, while also actually helping them continue to move the needle, right? Because we don't want to just again brush things under the rug all of the time. So I think there really is a healthy balance with that. And it's almost a difficult question to answer because it so much depends on the context with that specific client, your relationship with that client. everyone who's listening right now can know where if they had a client, someone that they've become pretty close with, they've been working with them for a year and a half, you might be able to push the tough love a little bit more versus someone who you just started working with and has a lot of self-limiting beliefs. Like if we go that direction, they're just going to feel worse about themselves. And then they're going to stop checking in with you because they don't want to like burden you with their inability to stick to the plan. So it's really a lot about reading the client situation, the relationship, building that relationship so that you can have maybe some of those tougher conversations. But it's also always needs to come from the lens of like, what is actually going to be most productive in this conversation? Is this actually potentially going to push this client away? I talk a lot about growth versus fixed mindset. So if we have a client who is struggling with a fixed mindset, and at the end of the day, really just means that they don't believe that they can actually do this. They can't lose weight. They can't keep it off. They can't stick to the plan, that they're not the type of person to track macros or the type of person to go to the gym consistently. If they're really in that place and you're just going to them and like dropping the hammer, all it's going to do is push them further down into that place because they're going to see your words as evidence that they're not capable. Like, see, even my coach knows that I can't do this. And I knew it all along. Why did I even sign up to work with this coach? Like, this is just, I've never been the type of person to stick with anything, you know, all of that. Versus if you have a client who has a growth mindset and they're showing signs of like, no, I know I can do this. I just need the right strategies. And I'm really excited and I'm excited to grow and learn more and better understand what's going to work for me and what's not. Then maybe there's a time and a place for a conversation like that. So there's a lot of sort of like reading the room in a way when it comes to understanding how to communicate with your clients too.
Hey, sorry to interrupt, but if you are a health or wellness professional and you haven't yet checked out The Wellness Vault, you're missing out. The Wellness Vault is a content hub for coaches who create their own plans and programs for their clients, run workshops, create digital guides, and so much more. You can now do all of this in a fraction of the time so you can focus on your clients and grow your business faster than ever with more you time. The link to The Wellness Vault is in the show notes, so go sign up for your free trial today. Thank you for watching this short clip. To watch or listen to this episode in its entirety, view the description below. See you next time.